Hey folks, welcome back. This review is very conflicting and very complicated. I have a very hard time putting a rating on this. I had recently, if you look back in the old archives of video reviews, I had reviewed Michael Mann's first film, 1981's Thief, which I was 5 out of 5, I believe. Tangerine Dream soundtrack. Great cinematography, great use of lighting, and it was just a masterful filmed picture. So I wanted to go through his movies, and I watched Public Enemy, and I did a review on that, but I had ordered a copy of his 1983 disavowed film, The Keep, which is considered a cult classic. And it's a horror movie, and I went down a rabbit hole of reading blogs and Reddits and all kinds of articles on movies where the directors lose creative control of the movie that they had envisioned, and then it becomes a steaming pile of crap. So here it is. I ordered a DVD on Amazon. This was a Paramount picture, and it's released by an Australian company called Via Vision. A lot of the articles that I had read were from like 2017 to 2020, and those articles had alluded to the fact that this movie only existed on Laserdisc and Blu-ray from the original release, and there was no re-releases of the film until this Australian company paved the way and remastered that version and put it out. It looks bootleg almost. There's no booklet, and it came from a third party on Amazon, and it was $9.99, I think. But I wanted the DVD experience because I feel like the movie Thief was lacking on my horrible VHS copy that I had. So I wanted to see this on high quality on a regular modern television. So there you go. I got this maybe not bootlegish video, although I did read that it had been remastered, but I don't know. This is weird. Some mature audiences sticker. Maybe this is an Australian thing. I don't know. So let's talk about the film. He brought Tangerine Dream back around to do the soundtrack. And I had recently done a review in the last couple of months. My friend Jonathan had wanted me to review Adam Carolla's favorite film, Cobra, the Stallone movie. And I had found a VHS copy of that, and I'd reviewed that. That was another victim of studios having creative differences compared to the vision of the director and the people that were working on the film. Cobra was so chopped up, and it could have been great, but they ended up having like an 89-minute version, and it just didn't make sense. Things would happen, and you didn't know what was going on. So too with this film. It's got an hour and 36-minute runtime. Michael Mann's cut was 210 minutes, and then the studio thought that's too long, so they made him cut it down to 120, and then that movie didn't test well in test audiences, so then they cut it down to an hour and 36 minutes, and he pretty much skips over this film and just talks about Thief, and then he goes to Manhunter, which I think is the film after this that came out in like 1986. So I won't talk about any specific blogs because a lot of them said the same thing. Ian McKellen is one of the main characters. Scott Glenn is one of the main characters. It's based off of a book, which I did not write the authors down. I apologize because I just got so caught up in the fact that there's an unlisted version. The same thing with Cobra. There's never been a director's cut. I think Francis Ford Coppola, he recut The Godfather 3, and apparently it's a lot better. I would like to see them do something with this version. And then part of it was Tangerine Dream. Apparently Michael Mann didn't like their soundtrack, and so then he picked and chose outside of what they wanted, and then there was a huge dispute. So that's why it took so long for this to get released again. Lots of legal complications, lots of studio complications. I don't think we'll ever see a 210-minute version, and you can see horrible quality scenes on YouTube of parts that are not in this DVD version that I watched. I wanted to love this movie because of its masterly filmed like Thief was. The cinematography is great. I even like this Tangerine Dream soundtrack. It's a World War II piece where kind of like on the coattails of Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Nazis are holding up. They find this fort called the Keep in the Carpathian Mountains in Romania, and they go there, and the SS guys come and they just start massacring the villagers of this peaceful Romanian town. And there's these silver crosses that are glowing, and they're just like, ooh, we want to take the precious metal for our own and pillage and plunder, but they don't know that that's protecting and holding an evil entity that has a weird name that's based off of the book, and it like comes out and bad things happen. But it was just all over the place. Like there's like this random sex scene, and you're just like, how did this even happen? Because of the vision of Michael Mann had been completely cut down to this theatrical release that we see now, and it makes no sense whatsoever, just kind of like Cobra. And it's a tragedy, really, because of period correct, awesome special effects for the time, heavy use of the dry ice and the smoke machine, and weird 80s special effects. And that was another thing. The special effects supervisor died during the movie, so then that kind of caused problems as well. I'm like a 5 out of 5 on the production quality, but as a whole, I'm 2 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 44%, IMDb 5.7 out of 10, and Google users are 46%. And pretty much everyone agrees with me. As I'm watching this film for the first time, it's like there's all these random cuts. Sometimes you don't know what's going on. It felt like this is rushed. I feel like this should have been more. I needed more. But then you don't get it. So you're left with this Paramount release, which nobody wanted, including the director, because he disavowed it. So I'd say, yeah, I could see why it's a cult classic. It's just kind of weird. The monster is terrible 80s special effects with like, it just looks totally fake. And it would have been kind of better if you wouldn't have even seen the creature. That's my opinion. But I accept it for what it is. Just kind of like we talked about Alien, 1979. I liked the real special effects versus CGI. To me, it just clicks better in my brain. So check it out. I'm interested to know what you guys think of it. I just feel like I'm low on my score because it wasn't what the director wanted. And I feel like this movie could be a 5 out of 5 movie if maybe we see the 210-minute version, because of what I did see was great as far as quality of acting and production quality. But then it just went downhill because they just chopped up the film and butchered his vision. And then the whole lawsuit with Tangerine Dream and everything, we'll probably never see a real, like I said before, it is what it is. You just got to see what it is and take it for what it is and decide, I like this, but I don't like that. Overall, I was disappointed because I could see what it could have been. So that's my review. Production companies, just let your people do whatever they want. And I think that's why guys like Scorsese are doing on Netflix now, where they're doing like 3.5-hour movies and they're just kind of like, do whatever you want to do. Giving them the creative license. You're the visionary. It's your movie. Just let them play out. And it is what it is. Until next time, we'll see you then.